Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farhama nursyifa Jumain. I'm from the English department class A, and I'm about to tell you the article that I read about English learning, and the title is Learning English from Movies, an exploratory study by Yasamian Alolaiwi. If you guys want to check out the article, you guys can click the link that I have or just scan the QR code. And for the first material is the introduction. In today's world, the English language has a high status. As the first international language, it is the most widely spoken worldwide and is considered the preferred lingua franca in countries where it is not the population native tongue. The English language has become the most significant and dominant across the globe. Therefore, many English language learners, or we can shorten it as ELLs, endeavor to master it by experimenting with learning methods beyond the normal educational sphere. Besides, second language educators have used different English resources to find the most appealing and effective method of language acquisition. Acquiring in a second language, particularly English, has become a prerequisite for completing many transactions worldwide, and a requirement for securing a job or building a robust professional record. Language learning methods vary between traditional means such as formal education or reading, audio, and written supplementary materials. For the next material is formulation of the problem. This study attempts to answer these two questions. The first question is, what are EFL, undergraduate student perspective on English movies as tool for English language learning? And the second question is, how effective are English language movies in enhancing language skills? And for the third material is research objective and benefits. First, objective. What can we get from learning this study? For the first objective is, the primary objective of this study is to investigate the perspective of EFL learners regarding the use of movies as a resource for enhancing their English language skill. So, in this study, we can get the objective that the EFL, or we just say that English foreign learners. So, using this study, the English foreign learners can develop their English skill, particularly in areas such as listening comprehension, vocabulary acquisition, and cultural awareness. And the benefits. This study helped to understand student attitudes toward English films as a means of language learning. The result of the study will either support or refute the finding of the bulk to the research in this area of study. This study seeks to identify students' real motive for watching movies, verify the effectiveness of this educational tool in enhancing the foreign language skill, reading, listening, speaking, and writing. It helps attest to efficiency of integrating films as supplementary material in English curricula and classroom. So, after introduction, formulation of the problem, and research objective and benefits, we can get to know the previous research. Previous research is the reference that used by the author to write this study or this article. For the first article is Learning English Through Movies, Adult English Language Learner Perception by Wahib S. Abiladi, Fahad H. Abdin, and Felicia Lincoln. From these two articles, we can find the similarities and the differences. For the first similarities is this both article focus on movies as a learning tools. Both study explore the use of films as a method for improving English language skill. They highlight how exposure to movies can provide authentic language input that aids in language acquisition. And the second similarity is skill development. Both articles discuss improvement in various language skills, such as vocabulary acquisition, listening, and speaking abilities, resulting from watching English language movies. Research methodology. Both study utilize mixed methods, combining quantitative or questionnaires and qualitative or interview. For the difference, we can see that there are differences between these two articles. For the first difference is the target audience. The first study more focused on English, adult English learner, and the second study specifically examines university students enrolled in English language and translation program. And the second difference is context of research. The first paper may have a broader focus on various contexts in which adults learn English, whereas the second study is specifically situated within a university setting in Saudi Arabia, reflecting the educational environment and curriculum there. And then from this study, we can get to know the result of this article. For the first result is language development. Participants noted that watching movies improved their English, specifically in speaking, listening, pronunciation, and vocabulary. Watching films help learners connect spoken and listening skill, enhancing pronunciation by mimicking actors, and expand vocabulary by exposing them to everyday language. The second result is authentic learning. Learners appreciated movies for their real-life language user, which they found more engaging and relevant than classroom language. The exposure to native speaker natural expression motivated them to listen actively and gain new vocabulary and idioms. Self-learning or autonomy. Movies foster self-directed learning, enabling participants to learn independently outside the classroom. They value the freedom to learn at their own pace and without external pressure, which made language acquisition more enjoyable. And the last result is cultural awareness. Watching movies also increase cultural understanding, giving learners insight into American life, tradition, and social roles. This cultural exposure helps learners adapt more easily to the US, making them feel more connected to its society and values. For the second article titled Using Conceptual Metaphors Manifested in Disney Movies to Teach English Idiomatic Expression to Young Iranian EFL Learners by Arif Sadat Kosniat and Amit Reza Daulat Tabadi. The similarities from the first article and the second article is focus on language learning. Both articles are about how to improve English language learning. They emphasize that finding effective ways to learn is important for students who are not native English speakers. This focus helps us understand how best to teach and learn English. The second similarities is importance of movies. Both studies highlight that watching movies is a useful method for learning English. They explain that movies provide real-life example of how the language is spoken. This means students can hear natural conversation and learn vocabulary in context, which help them understand and use the language better. The third similarities is participants are both university students. The fourth similarity is method and data collection. Both studies use similar methods to gather information. They include surveys and interviews to collect the data. The second is differences. First differences is research focus. The first article talks about movies, looks more at student attitude, at perception toward using films in the English learning process. The second article primarily concentrates on the effectiveness of movies for language acquisition and how they help improve specific language skills like listening and vocabulary. The second difference is participant backgrounds. While both studies involve university students, the first article includes a broader range of students or different demographics, which could influence the finding, while the second article specifically focused on students from the Department of English Language and Translation and at Qasim University in Saudi Arabia. Data analysis. The first article may focus on more on qualitative insight, discussing team and individual experiences without heavy emphasis on statistical data. The second article provides detailed statistical analysis of the data collected from surveys and interviews. It often includes quantitative data to show trends and patterns in student responses. The last difference is recommendation. The recommendation for educators might differ. The first article offers more general recommendation based on student perception rather than detailed strategies. In contrast, the second article might suggest the specific strategies for integrating movies into language teaching based on the data findings. The result of this article is 1. Frequent movie watching. Many students reported watching movies regularly, primarily for entertainment. This regular exposure contributes to their language learning experience. The second result is language skill improvement. Students acknowledge that watching movies them acquire a significant amount of vocabulary. So, after they do this study, it says that the student watching more English movie and that help their language skill improvement in speaking, writing, or vocabulary memorize or something like that. The last previous research is by Xiang Hui Lui and Peng Wang. The title is A Research on Using English Movie to Improve Chinese College Student Oral English. The first similarities is both articles focus on language acquisition. Both studies emphasize the role of movie in enhancing English language acquisition, and both of the article use a university student as the target audience. And for the difference, geographical context. The second article focused on Chinese students, while the first examines Saudi Arabian students, impacting cultural context and challenges. The research focus. The second study target improvement in oral English skill, whereas the first explore a broader range skill including reading and writing. The result of this article is improvement in oral skills. Students reported noticeable enhancement in their oral English skill after watching English movie. Increased vocabulary. After watching movie, participants indicated that watching movie helped them acquire new vocabulary, which contributed to their language proficiency. Enhanced listening skill. This study found that exposure to native speaker in movies significantly improves student listening comprehension, engagement, and motivation. With this study, students expressed that watching movies made learning more enjoyable and engaging, increasing their motivation to practice English. We get by from the previous research and we are now at the methodology of the article Learning by Movies. First is population and participants. The study focused on EFL undergraduate students at Qasim University, Saudi Arabia, comprising 74 participants. If you can see at the first chart, you can see that there are 25 male and 49 females. It shows that this study focuses on but attract more female students more than the male student. Their age range from 18 to 27. If you see on the second chart, you can see that most of the students with the average rate of the study is from 20 to 22. Students were randomly selected from 9 levels of study, including those in an intensive course program. Enrollment in the program requires completing of a one-semester intensive course covering major language skill and vocabulary building. You guys can check out uh, the chart that I put it in here. So the second methodology is research design and data collection. An exploratory research design was employed, aiming to understand the problem, identify solution, and explore relevant variables. A mixed method approach was used, incorporating both quantitative and qualitative. So this um, the author used mixed method, contain quantitative or questionnaire and qualitative or interviewing. Data collection occurred during the first semester of the 2021 and 2022 academic year, utilizing an online questionnaire distributed through WhatsApp and educational platforms. Responses were analyzed using SPSS 23 with frequency counts generated for quantitative data. The third method is research instrument. Two instruments were utilized: questionnaire or the quantitative method, an online survey with 18 items, 14 closed-ended and 4 open-ended, gathered demographic, factual, and attitudinal information. Response followed a Likert scale ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. You guys ever have a questionnaire that we have to put this strongly agree, just a little bit agree, and strongly disagree? The second method is interview. Follow-up interview with 3 academical proficient students explore their opinions on the research topic. The interview includes 7 open-ended questions regarding their movie watching habits and perception of its impact on language acquisition. The next material is result and discussion. The result of the article Learning English from Movie, an exploratory study, investigate the effectiveness of using movie as a tool for English language acquisition among university students in Saudi Arabia. The first result is frequency of movie watching. A significant majority of the participants, or 77%, reported watching movies, indicating a high engagement with this medium. Perceived effectiveness. Most students, 87.8%, agreed that watching movies is an effective method for language acquisition. They believe that movies help improve their English skills, particularly listening and vocabulary. Language improvement. About 70.3% of respondents felt that their English had improved because of watching movies. They attribute this improved exposure to authentic language in various contexts. Types of movies. Participants preferred action and drama genres, which were seen as both entertaining and educational. Subtitle preference. A large majority, 79.7%, preferred watching movie with subtitle, believing that subtitle aid in comprehension and vocabulary acquisition. The last result is recommendation. The study suggests integrating films into language curricula to enhance learning experience while also acknowledging the need for further research on the topic. The second is discussion. The data analysis revealed several key findings that align with previous research on language skill improvement, notably students indicating the listening is vital for language acquisition, with media serving as primary source of listening material. This support Abuda in 2011, who found that watching English movie enhanced listening skills. Additionally, students report vocabulary growth linked to film watching, echoing Saburi et al. At 2015, who noted that subtitle movie aided vocabulary acquisition, while many participants preferred watching movies with subtitles. The correlation between these factors was not explored, highlighting a research gap. The study also indicated that movie watching enhanced English fluency and speaking skill, consistent with Al-Ahdal et al. 2021 and Lee and Wang 2015, who found improved communicative proficiency through film use. Participants view films as authentic language searches, which align with Abiladi et al. 2018, who noted that movies enhance language acquisition and cultural awareness. While many students have focused on formal teaching aspect, this research did not reveal another gap. Lastly, while positive attitudes toward integrating films in language classes have been noted among EFL or English foreign learners and teachers, the study did not address this perception, indicating the need for further investigation. And last, the conclusion. In this study, examined the effectiveness of English movie in enhancing the language skill of Saudi EFL, or you guys can say English foreign learners, undergraduate students. Participants shared varied perspective, concluding that many watch movies frequently, often hundreds, and recognize the value in improving speaking, listening, reading, writing, pronunciation, and vocabulary. While students enjoy movies primarily for entertainment, they noted that colloquial language often used does not align with academic standards. Additionally, movie watching facilitated learning about culture, lifestyle, and even other languages such as Spanish. Although this research addressed key questions, significant gaps remain. Future empirical studies on the impact of movie on media on EFL learners' skill could not yield deeper insight. Moreover, the current study did not explore integrating films as educational tool in the classroom, highlighting another area for investigation. In conclusion, the finding offer valuable insight for education. In conclusion, the finding offer valuable insight for educators and curriculum developers. It is recommended to consider incorporating media into the educational process to provide learners with authentic language learning resources. And maybe that's all from me. I hope you guys can understand what I have said, like that long explanation. And thank you so much for watching my video, and goodbye.